So then I was like, screw you, lady. If I want to have a baboon named Arugula, I will. So I punched her in the face and took her car.
What just happened?
Anyway, welcome to the Beer, the Brain, the Brawn. I am the Brawn, Stuart Purcell. Don't give me that look.
I don't even know what to say right now.
And now Anyway, joining me are my co-host, Andy Bauman, who's speechless the first time I've seen that in a long time.
I would take a pet gorilla, though.
Put it on the table. That's a lot of food.
I could ride him to work.
Chimp.
Nah, they're mean.
And gorillas aren't. They pick up trees and use them as baseball bats.
Yeah, we'd wrestle.
Have fun with that.
I will.
Okay. And, of course, Zach Mayer, who, with his unending patience, puts up with our crap. Zach, how you doing? How's the blood pressure? You all right? You doing good? It's Friday.
It is Friday, thank goodness.
Yeah, gorilla time.
I'm good.
I was going to do a gorilla impression, but I thought, something like that.
Hey,
You're a speciesist.
That was actually
and
pretty good.
I hope you're happy.
I know what you just said.
All right, guys, let's move on to our first topic of the week. A few weeks ago, we mentioned the Batman stamps were coming to the Postal Service, and it looks like stamp collectors are not very happy about this. They think they're just bringing in too much childish to the stamps, which collecting stamps to me just seems weird in itself.
Well, maybe they can collect steam engines next, or perhaps Morse code generators.
Hey, I think those things would be a lot cooler than stamps.
I would use Morse code. Next, we want to talk about Batman and Robin comics. Fun fact, the new Damon Wayne is going to be... Where you do? I just blew that one.
Wait, make sure we say spoiler alert.
Yeah, this is a spoiler. If you've been living under a rock or don't know characters' backstories, the new Robin is fixing to be Damian Wayne, the love child of Batman and...
I thought he already was.
He was dead.
Of course he was.
But he's back because his grandfather has a bunch of Lazarus pits. So shocking no one, he has returned.
He does.
Which we actually don't know why or how he has been brought back to life.
That is true. But his grandfather's Ra's al Ghul, famous for the Lazarus pits that bring you back to life, potentially make you crazy for a while. The interesting thing on that, though, is the picture that's been going around in the pressers is he's like half tearing his overshirt off and the bullets are bouncing off him. So is he going to be bulletproof? Is it just them saying, hey, you can't kill me after all?
I think we all know the answer to this.
What's that?
Breastplate with nipples.
Yeah, indeed.
And for people who actually want to read the comic series, it's going to be called Robin Rises and should be available January 2, 2015.
For the record, I'm pro Damian Wayne as Robin.
Anti. All right, let's move on.
How about just Marvel and DC can suck it?
You
All right.
cool your jets.
All right,
Do what I want.
we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but let's move on. Hearthstone is making its way to smaller devices, iOS and Android smartphones, to be exact. They should be available in early 2015, but if you can't wait and have an Android tablet, you should be able to get Hearthstone from the Google Play Store by the end of the year. I think this is pretty big news, so now we can actually start playing a really good game, either on our, any kind of phone.
Or you can just play Clash of Clans and stop being a Sally.
We're looking
Sally.
at you, Zach.
Your new name is Sally.
Hearthstone is dope, though. So if you haven't played it yet, definitely check it out.
Don't point at me, Sally. What's your name? Your name is Sally. Anyway, do you have $3.75 million? In which case...
I do. No,
I
I really
be friends
don't.
with you if you do. Because you could own Stan Lee's home. That's right, Stan Lee's about to become homeless. That's pretty much all I got. He's going to build an entire house out of his comic books, which is going to be awesome until it rains. And then you get like...
I hope he's
a
not
Three
going
Little
into a
Pigs thing.
home. Like someone's putting him in a home.
What if it was, I'm about to create a
You can
home,
own the home.
and this is trademarked, guys, so don't try and steal it. It's going to be a retirement home for only comic book professionals, and we're just going to make geriatric comics, and it's going to be awesome. Sponsored by Insure.
What's it about? Like Captain Wheelchair and his eternal quest to make it down the hallway.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot of superior shuffleboard tournaments. It's going to be really awesome.
I think Captain Citrus is going to show up.
He very well could be. I'm just saying, so like, clearly the orderlies are the henchmen.
Well, yeah.
Trying to get them to take their evil medicine and whatnot.
Well, and the bad guys would definitely be scurvy and osteoporosis. So, I mean, there's a lot of arcs coming your way.
It's true.
So get fired up.
It's true. And
brace yourselves.
And like, instead of Lazarus pits, we could just have like When the Price is Right is on. Or Golden Girls.
Who doesn't like The Price
is
is Right?
And then, as like a boost, to give them their super strength, they have Jell-O and butterscotch.
Oh, what's that really disgusting tasting juice that everyone drinks?
Prune juice.
Prune juice. That could be their super drink.
Yeah.
Like spinach.
He
Like,
gets
hold on,
the
Popeye
moving.
spinach.
Just leave it at that.
Alrighty. Fun fact: The Flash has been upgraded to a full season. I'm pretty stoked about that. It'll be curious to see. As we've spoken about before, there's some interesting arcs going on. Still trying to figure out who this professor guy is and what his deal is. I've got my guesses.
Professor H.G. Wells.
Yeah, time traveling scientist. So yeah, pretty excited about that. It started off a lot stronger than Arrow did, and as we all know, Arrow's been fantastic, and it's only gotten better as well. So I think there's a bright future for DC television shows.
Yeah,
so
stay
far.
stay tuned to a little bit later in the episode where we actually talk about the Flash. We missed it last week because we have so many shows that we want to cover. So this week we're going to dedicate some time to the Flash. The last few episodes that have been on there. Last topic for the main topics is that Star Wars comics are going to finally be on coming to Marvel since Marvel bought Star Wars in 2015. So I'm assuming that means Dark Horse is not going to be having any more rights. Is that right? Dark Horse was the ones who did Star Wars before.
They did a bunch, and then I believe Marvel did them in like the 70s.
Okay.
Can we just have like a crossover arc where, I don't know, Cable or somebody, maybe Deadpool, like goes to Star Wars and punches Luke Skywalker and tells him to stop being such a pansy ass?
I would love that. It'd probably
It would
be
be
Deadpool,
awesome.
though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh no, I'm the most powerful Jedi. My dad's dead. Blah, 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 blah. Stop being a pansy.
I think it's doable.
Man up.
Let's not forget Deadpool's the same guy in one of his comics that killed somebody, and then later on physically went back to the pages and ripped it out to bring him back.
Boom.
Deadpool.
There we go.
If that doesn't fire you up for a movie, we're not friends.
I like it. Think of how much fun you could have with like Deadpool and Han Solo just sniping back and forth.
They would have a great time. I would watch that
I
buddy cop
guarantee
movie.
they both shoot first.
Yeah, or stab.
Or stab. It's true.
All right, let's go on to our main topic. Now, we're going to start something a little different. Every week, we're going to have this really big main topic where we kind of take a lot of our podcast time into discussing some of the cool things that are happening. Marvel vs. DC, past, present, and future. And it gets really complicated because, there's so many biases. You have those Marvel people who only like Marvel, and then you have the DC people who only like DC.
You.
And I think we kind of have the panel that can kind of work
So,
through both.
one of the
I mean,
most
we do
important
have
things
some
that we
DC
wanna talk
people. about is we have
the-
some Marvel
you.
people, and
Us.
then we like to have these good discussions. So we're going to
don't.
talk about the Age of Ultron movie because that was leaked this week. Then Marvel decided that they wanted to just post it in HD.
Damn it, Hydra.
That
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Marvel tweeted right after the leak came out. They just go, "Damn it, Hydra!" I thought that was pretty awesome. The trailer for that's bonkers.
Crazy.
Great use of the Pinocchio themes or the old "I've Got No Strings" Pinocchio song, slowed down,
Making it really creepy.
atmospheric.
So glad. It kind of makes you glad that DC or that Disney owns Marvel because they were allowed to use that song.
The
from
only thing
Pinocchio.
creepier than just that song is when James Spader's voice sings the song with it, and you're just like, "Oh, I'm gonna die."
Yeah, Reddington. I had a little Red Reddington flashback because you could kind of see that character in him. Spader's other current job, Blacklist. It's awesome. Watch it. I think Spader was a brilliant casting choice. Good gracious.
I think he was too. And like I told you guys this week, it reminded me of Bane from The Dark Knight Rises because it had this kind of like horde, like this is what I'm going to do, and this is how the people are, and
Apocalyptic.
I'm taking over, and because the world needs to be taken over. And I think there's a lot of similarities between the
Yeah,
Bane and Dark Knight Rises, and
Hopefully, Ultron doesn't go out like a pansy, getting shot by Catwoman.
Well, it looks like he's fixing to be covered in vibranium, so it might not be that easy. And that's not even a spoiler. That's just
Yeah, another reason why Marvel's better because they don't have the villain go out like a hoe.
Well,
Looking at
that'll
you.
lead us a great segue into debating the Marvel vs. DC past, present, and future. This will be specifically the movies, although I will do a quick caveat that I think DC's done a really good job with their TV shows. I would definitely say they're beating Marvel hand and foot at the live-action TV shows. One thing I personally like about DC is their animated movies, which, as we've spoken about, tend to be darker. I like them because they usually use the same voice cast. They do a really good job in most of them. There's been a couple misses, in my opinion, but they tend to be really good. DC's movies, in my opinion, the past, I didn't really care for the old Supermans a whole lot. I like Christopher Reeve, but I just didn't care for those old movies too much once I got out of being a child. Not that that is a childish movie. It's just I kind of liked it when I was younger, and now I don't. I did like the Nolan movies, although I feel like they're kind of a gift and a curse because they were so successful and they were fantastic and just great casting, great directing, kind of darker. I feel like because of that, they think that everything needs to be darker now, which is kind of how I feel Hollywood does. You know, they do one thing successful and then they just beat the crap out of it.
Which I do think Marvel's doing as well. They they had their highlight points and now they're trying to make it dark and gritty because that's what people want, that, but they also want their comic relief. And I think Marvel handles that in the live action really, really well. They handle the dark and gritty, but still have the fun and the action and things like that.
Kind of Whedon-esque.
Yeah. And, you know, that's what I like about the Marvel. What I like about Marvel.
The Marvel.
The Marvel. But it just comes down to the Marvel movies are good in a whole. The DC movies are good in another whole. Yes, I do agree that I think all of the past DC movies, besides, you know, up into the Batman Begins, they were childish. They were kiddie. You know, they were comic book movies.
Yeah.
These aren't comic book movies anymore. These are superhero movies.
Yeah.
Fantasy
happen to be based on comic books.
Happen to be based.
But yeah, no, I'm agreeing with that.
And you know, and I brought this up earlier, is that animated movies are designated to a specific group of people. They're, you know, mostly male, mostly people who are really into the superhero movies. Then you have the live action ones who everyone goes sees.
Right.
Male, female, everyone, geeks, non-geeks,
but
bodybuilders.
The animated ones are also direct to DVD too, so that's a small caveat. I don't think we've seen any of those in the theaters. Although interestingly enough, HBO Go's been picking up a lot of the DC Superman animated flicks in the Justice Leagues. I'm sure because of Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah.
But they had All-Star Superman, they had Superman Doom. They had they had another one too. I'd already seen them a bunch, so I didn't really fool with it. But for the average person that hasn't, it was a great way because they were all direct to DVD. You might not have known about them, you know, if you weren't fooling with some of the websites we use or, you know, in the same circles we do. So yeah, I could see that. They do appeal to the live action tend to appeal to a broader audience.
For one reason only.
Oh, now you're switching to Marvel? I was just talking about the DC stuff.
Oh, I'm talking about regardless.
Oh.
It's both. Is, as I mentioned before, dudes. The broad audience, okay. Who's going to go see an animated movie about superheroes?
This guy.
People who like superheroes, a.k.a. dudes, nerdy dudes. I admit I would probably go see one. How do you get girls, more specifically girls of guys who want to go see these movies, so like girlfriend, wife, fiance.
You get the beard on there,
friends
topless.
Benefits, all that. Yeah. You get shirtless dudes who are all good looking. Let's go through the list. Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Christian Bale. Wow, there's a lot of Chris's in there.
There are a lot of Chris's.
All right. What's his face? The Henry Cavill. Find a protagonist. Heck, even RDJ for being an older dude. They're all good looking. And they're all either shirtless or in tank tops half the time.
Or moody.
Or moody and brooding. Or shirtless and brooding with his long hair. Winter Soldier. Dick. I'm just saying, it's brilliant marketing. And then for us guys, we got Scarlett Johansson, which I'm not complaining about.
Yep.
I mean, that's how they do it. That's how they boost the sales for live action over animated.
I did like that new Superman, though, with Cavill.
It was good.
Yeah, it was very good. And I think we're going to see DC improve. I think it's still going to be way too dark and gritty, and I feel like that's going to lose a lot of the female base.
And all the trailers have the same like music. It's that dun, 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 dun,
right.
Dun, 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 dun. It's the Brahm thing that he got from Inception. Every Nolan-esque trailer has that damn sound effect in it.
I mean, in my opinion, I would say Marvel's currently better at the movies, but as you said, Warner Brothers and DC could definitely take the lead because they got a bunch of cool stuff coming out.
Do we think Marvel's hitting their peak? They're hitting their top line, and now that next we have the Avengers, and we hear that the Avengers could be totally different by Avengers 3. Do you think we're hitting the high point at a Age of Ultron, and now we're going to go to a downhill spiral?
Or even a plateau? I am concerned for that. But who else would have thought? If you would have told me 8 years ago, they would have taken a talking raccoon, a monosyllabic tree, and
nice vocabulary.
The fat guy from Parks and Rec at the time, who I happen to love, Chris Pratt's hilarious, and make it a bazillion-dollar movie, I would have been like, you're lying and get off the LSD.
But I think that's because it's different. It's, we've, since Iron Man 1 has come out, we have been on this same story. And now Marvel gives us something different, and we loved it. And so now it's doing way better than all the other movies because now we have something different.
And to give you credit, you did hit it too. There wasn't a lot of AAA competition for it after the first couple weeks.
No, I mean, even now, I still feel like it's, hitting records just because there hasn't been anything. Next month and next week we're going to talk about, the holiday lineup and what's coming up next for us. But yeah, there really hasn't been anything even now.
What I find interesting is, up until recently, Marvel's movies, I think the Avengers hit $1 billion. Guardians is like 700 and some million. And I'm not sure how this is going to play out with DC creating when they, do more of their collaboration and the ensemble casts. But Dark Knight, I think, got $1 billion.
That was my follow-up, how much they did.
Yeah, and Dark Knight Rises got close to $1 billion. So while Marvel has numbers, all of their movies, with the exception of the Avengers, are slightly underperforming DC's. Now, granted, the caveat I would say is, kind of like you had said, these are DC's A-listers. This is Superman and Batman. And beyond that, it's Superman and Batman and that Nolan-esque,
which it's always been. We've seen Green Lantern, which they did do a flop, which I have my own opinions about. I didn't think it was as bad of a movie. I think there were bad parts.
I honest to God forgot about Green Lantern.
There was a lot of
it.
bad parts to the movie, especially
what's his name? Parallax.
Parallax.
It looked like a big floating poop cloud.
Parallax was the worst part of the entire movie.
Agreed.
But I think it would have been way better if they would have used Sinestro or somebody like that, who would have been a better villain.
I didn't hate it, but I'm with you.
Or maybe if he wasn't a poop cloud, or just some ugly dude. Like, he was just an
Parallax
ugly
should
dude.
look like an electrical creature. Like in Gremlins 2, that electrical gremlin, he should look like that, but yellow and larger.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
agree.
exactly what he looks like.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
instead, they made him look like someone had too much Bombas with the Diablo sauce, and then had an issue, and then it gained sentience.
Yep,
that was a problem. But my question is, I cannot believe
That just happened.
It is awesome. My question is, with DC, that there this history of, almost $1 billion, almost $1 billion, almost $1 billion, they're going to try to continue to hit that. Whereas Marvel has, they've been making plenty of money on all their characters, but they have so many stories that are going right now. I'm curious to see what happens when DC starts introducing more. Are they going to keep that near $1 billion momentum going? In which case they'll end up beating Marvel eventually, or with maybe the market beginning to get oversaturated, are things going to start to slow down for them? Marvel can take that hit because they've had so many movies and so many storylines going over and over and over again. I don't think DC could take a huge loss again.
I would disagree. The thing is that you have to look who's behind the money.
It's Parallax.
You have to see who's behind the money. Disney is the money, is the sugar daddy for Marvel.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just okay.
They are.
I'm just saying.
Look at.
But it's the same thing
Look
with
at Agents of
WB.
Shield.
You just compared
if
Mickey Mouse being a sugar daddy to Marvel.
But you have to look
creepy.
at Agents of Shield. Agents of Shield is on ABC. It doesn't matter what kind of ratings Agents of Shield gets
Because they don't spend as much to produce it because they don't owe it with anybody else.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Liz. I'm just impressed with the fact that you brought in sugar daddy into this conversation.
But then you look at DC, and DC has Warner Brothers as their sugar daddy. So I don't see them flopping anytime soon. I could see them stop producing as many movies, and then to a point where maybe now we can finally get to some original stories. Because when was the last time you went to see a movie that actually had an original story? We're bringing back Jurassic Park
Again. It's all
With Chris
reboots,
Pratt,
sequels,
oddly
prequels.
enough.
I like Chris Pratt a lot.
Yeah, that's been going on for years, though. The sequels, prequels, and reboots.
Bonkers.
21 Jump Street said it perfectly with Nick Offerman. And he's like, we have, these people have no creativity and no imagination, so they just constantly recycle the same thing and pass it off as new.
And
it's true.
And a lot of things is, and that's what the DC thing. Everyone thinks this is new a lot of people kind of think it's new content because they've never experienced before because they never read the comics.
All these stories are retreads.
And us, we actually get to see them in real life, and that's what we're so excited for. But I feel like, one wrong actor, one wrong person, one wrong movie is going to mess everything up. And that's what I'm worried about with DC, because DC is now, they're
in the upswing.
They're in the upswing, but they've already planned out their next next 6 years of movies, and they've only had one.
Mm-hmm.
They've only had one movie for this new generation.
Yeah.
And now they've already have 6 years.
It's interesting the various business models, because you have Marvel, who has, truly, and this isn't just because I'm a Marvel head, they have done a very good job of laying the foundation, building a solid team, building a base, and then going on from there.
Mm-hmm.
They made sure to really flush out Iron Man. They flushed out Thor. Hulk, you could make an argument against that.
They've had their flops with that.
Yeah, they had some issues with Hulk.
But you've had Iron Man, you've had Thor, you've had even Guardians just now. They've put them into. You're really. Obviously Captain America. You know the characters before you see them in a team. So that way, when they do something in this team setting, you know, oh, that's why. Whereas DC, yes, you've had Batman, different Batman. That's beside the point. You've had a little bit of Superman. This Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, which is a terrible title.
Terrible.
They're throwing in who? Wonder Woman. They're throwing in Aquaman. They're throwing in what's his face? The Cyborg dude. What's his name?
Cyborg.
Oh, well, then there we go.
Are they bringing in Cyborg?
There's been some rumors.
Because
I've not heard anything.
The Cyborg movie isn't even supposed to be come out until 2020.
I've heard some rumors, but I've not seen anything super concrete yet.
My point is
We haven't even seen a trailer yet.
Yeah, they're trying to intro these characters in an ensemble movie, and then flesh out the backstory. We saw how that went with Hawkeye in the first Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go well. No one knew what was this guy about. He just has a bow and arrow. That's
or
all we know.
You could even argue, what was that? The first Thor. That's when he actually showed up, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was in the first Thor.
He had a brief cameo.
Brief cameo, but you didn't know who he was. At least
we knew,
mention
but
who
average,
he is.
Yeah, but my point is though that with there's a huge risk for DC to be taking to make, let's say, 5 people in this ensemble for DC, one of which we know, the Cable Superman. We kind of know about Affleck's Batman. We don't know anything about the last 3.
True, and honestly,
and who's the villain? Is there a villain?
I think they're trying to say like Superman is to an extent at first.
Yeah, because I think that at the end of the first Superman, so if you haven't seen it, spoiler, but it's been plenty of years now, so we should be okay. At the end, he went crazy. He went nuts, and he killed somebody. And after a movie that's supposed to be a reboot of Superman, in the first movie, he kills somebody.
His fundamental law.
Done.
That's why Marvel's better, because you can kill.
Well,
which, if you haven't read the Injustice comics, man, does he nuke some people
in the alternate universe? Goodness. But yeah, and the other thing I hate, I'm over all the origin stories. If they're a AAA character and not some ancillary person, there doesn't need to be an origin. I guarantee if you ask my mom, who's never read a single comic book, what's Superman's origin story or Batman, she'd be like, oh, he's some alien that fell to Earth and his planet exploded, or his parents got killed and he wanted to fight crime. I don't need to see this 1,000 times.
Or if they do the reboot and they want to do kind of a short origin story, make it be kind of like the opening credit scenes or something like that kind of like shows what kind of happened or something like that only lasts 2 minutes, 3 minutes max, and then let's move on.
If you're going to have an origin story,
we've already seen plenty.
So, but from DC's perspective, if you're going to have a movie dedicated to origin stories, they should have been doing one on Wonder Woman. They should have been doing one on Aquaman. They should have been doing one on Cyborg. Like you said, we know Batman. We know Superman. Everybody knows. Heck, the Superman S is the second most recognizable symbol on Earth.
What's the first? The apple?
The Christian cross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The apple is actually pretty low down on the list.
Really?
Yeah, because even people in low profiting like third world countries, they know of Superman. They know of the symbol.
Yeah, that S is widely known. People know who these two are.
Really, if you don't have $500 or whatever their currency of money is that is equal to the Apple iPad or something like that, you're not going to know Apple.
But my point still stands though. They were flushing out the wrong characters, and now they're going to try to rush in these 3.
But I do think that with this new Superman versus Batman, I don't think we're going to get a Batman.
I hope not.
Mythos.
And to be fair, I think we spoke on it a couple podcasts back. I'm fairly pumped for Affleck to be Batman.
Yeah, I kind of want to see, because everyone keeps thinking he's going to be like the comic book, The Dark Knight-esque.
Yeah, and I could see
Batman.
that. That's the story.
Yeah.
Is when Batman's supposed to, Batman's supposed to take out Superman, or one of the, I forget nowadays. No, it's Batman. Superman's supposed to go take out Batman because Batman's like this counter culturalist guy because he's mad at the government or whatever. Although that was back in the 80s, I believe, so they're going to have to change some of it a bit.
No more Soviet Union.
Yeah. But it'll be good. I mean, look at The Town. He did a great job with that. He's a great director. I still kind of feel they're doing that so that they can get him on there so they can lock him in for directing some stuff too, honestly. But I think an older, grumpier Batman, as long as he can get rid of that Boston accent, I think it'll be fine, to be quite honest.
Yelling at kids to get off of his lawn.
Get in my back cave, you little whippersnapper. Oh, you stole my whippersnapper.
So it looks like in 6 years, we're going to have to come back and we're going to have to revisit this. So I pulled up a calendar, and maybe Friday, October 23rd of 2020, we are going to come back here and we are going to discuss this topic and see who was right and who was wrong at the very end of this. I think DC has a strong shot now. Towards the end, I'm going to say, Marvel had their uprising. DC came in and swooped it because it's a different story. We're learning something new. I mean, this new Marvel, the Age of Ultron movie, they say that they've used the most CGI of any Marvel movie they've done so far is going to be on this one. So that's very nervous. That makes me very nervous.
I'm a big practical effects guy.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to. I mean, this is Ultron, so you're going to have to. I mean, you would have thought, Guardians of the Galaxy would have been, but no, Age of Ultron is actually going to be the most.
I wonder if it's for all the automatons.
Probably.
Working for 'em.
Probably.
I feel like you said, DC has
a lot of
very, 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 very good shot at overtaking Marvel. Having said that, as part of that very, very good shot, there is a lot of risk involved.
Very real. Yeah.
And we have the very real risk of viewer fatigue.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvel could have fatigued the whole genre.
And that's, I mean, again, I think I talked about this in the first or second podcast. The perfect example of the amount of risk that DC is taking is when DC had already set their day for when Batman vs. Superman was going to come out. Marvel said, really? And they put Captain America at that exact same date. And rather than have a showdown, DC blinked and moved the date. Why? Because Marvel can take the hit, DC can't. They need that to be a blockbuster.
Do we think there might be some insider knowledge? They're like, yeah, guys, just to let you know, we're doing Civil War. Like, not saying that this is actually what happened or anything, but they're like, guys, I just want to let you know we're doing Civil War, and so we're really not budging. And your guys are like, well, and you guys are adding Batman, who's just been done, so you're redoing Batman, and now you're going to see how this goes. Do you really want to do that? But they're going a week ahead, right? Or 2 weeks ahead or something like that. So, it's not going to do as well because, they're doing it the first week. They're doing it prior to Captain America. So I think Captain America then will take it over. But we'll see what after Captain America does, who starts winning after the third, fourth week.
Yeah, because that's when you're going to be hitting the margins. Because I think a lot of the folks like us will see both probably multiple times.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
At least twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as of right now, I think we all agree that Marvel is superior in the live action movies
at this stage. But it's DC's game to lose, depending on how they do in the next little bit.
Right, because I mean, Superman versus Batman: Dawn of Justice is going to make or break them because they are putting all their everything into this. It wasn't
all
like
the eggs in that basket.
It wasn't like they had Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. It's not like that. They had Superman, and now we're going to have a superhero collabora movie. Yeah. So,
and I'm pumped for Momoa. I am.
Momoa.
I love that dude.
Are you going to have a mimosa while going to go see it?
I would have a mimosa with Momoa.
Hold on.
And not even like mimosas.
Here is your end-all, be-all fight scene. Later on, obviously. What if somehow you get Aquaman, a.k.a. Jason Momoa?
Is Aquaman going to be blonde?
No, I don't know. I think they're making him like a Hawaiian kind of surfer type dude.
Which I'm fine with. Jason Momoa's Aquaman.
What about a hook?
That would be dope.
Somehow,
I like that version.
Somehow, some way.
I just want to keep interrupting Stu.
Yeah. Having a throwdown with Black Adam, a.k.a. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Well, I think they said that would be awesome, but I believe they said the Shazam movie is going to be taking place in a different universe or something.
So probably like the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of esque.
Well, except Guardians is still going on at the exact same time. I mean, same universe, whereas this would be more like the Nolanverse compared to the current, or the Arrowverse with Arrow and Flash versus the current DC universe.
Right.
But Momoa's 6'4", 240. The Rock is 6'5", 260. That makes the whole The Rock versus Vin Diesel thing from the Fast and Furious movies look like peanuts.
I'll say this: I'd have a beer with both of them.
Heck yeah.
Yep. And Vin Diesel.
My last point is I'm kind of disappointed that they're going to redo the Flash could be during the same timeline as the Flash TV show. I'm kind of bummed about that. If they're going to keep one, I would just stick with one. I know they're two different universes.
I would have liked to see both of the guys. I love Amel, as do you.
Yeah.
I really wish
at least cameos to make it seem like it's the same universe. Yeah. But whatever. Maybe they'll do something like they do with Stan Lee or something like that. They'll give him some small role or something. Guess we'll have to see. All right. Well, I think that concludes the main topic. Just want to go briefly through the weekly digital fix. We had quite a bit of topics. First, Recode reported that Spotify wants to lower its music plan for families. Currently, every user would be $10 a month. Now, if you have, your spouse or girlfriend or whatever wants to do it, they can do it for 50% off. So instead of paying $20 a month for both of you, it's only going to be $15. And with this, Recode also mentions that Apple actually is going to try to start getting back into the music subscription with Beats, either rebranding it or whatever, and trying to do as low as $5 a month. So that's actually pretty cool. More Apple news. Apple had quite a bit of announcement last Thursday. They released the iPad Air 2, iPad Mini 3, 5K iMac, which is kind of ridiculous, Apple Pay, and the new Mac Mini. Really, the iPad 2, the only difference was they increased the processor and added Touch ID. iPad 3, iPad Mini 3, Touch ID is the only thing that happened there. So if you want to check it out, you guys can check our show notes for all the links of specs and prices and stuff like that. Also, Apple released OS X Yosemite on Friday. So you can check
I
that
just
out.
realized they stopped doing the cat thing.
Yeah, they stopped the cat. This is the second version that they stopped the cat.
What was the last one?
Maverick.
Huh.
Mavericks,
Wow.
and now this is Yosemite. So now they're doing places in
Let's do
California.
dogs, man. Come on.
Apparently, they don't like dogs.
El Segundo.
The cat people.
I don't trust anybody that doesn't like dogs.
Right?
Yeah, they should have at least had
Unless
one
you were
dog.
like attacked by a dog when you were a child and you have some sort of complex, understandable. Otherwise, you're probably a communist and you hate America.
Okay. I can. If you're a girl and you have a cat, you're in probation. You're a suspect. If you're a dude, and you have a cat.
It better be a lion.
Don't have a dog. There is only one reason you should have a cat, not a dog, and that is if you live on a farm, strictly for killing mice.
I would say if
I
you're
kinda
a
get
dude
that.
and you have a cat, it better be a lion, liger, or some sort of man beast that just deals death and
What
you
about
ride
a
it into
bobcat?
battle.
I'd have
That'd
a
be pretty
bobcat.
rad.
I'd have a bobcat. I'm just saying, dudes with cats.
I want an ocelot
Weird. Ooh.
named Babu.
Look at his spots, Lana.
All right. Well,
Phrasing.
okay. So to purchase your cats, do you guys think you might use Apple Pay or something similar to like that, where all you have to do is go and touch your phone or touch your phone's Touch ID, and boom, there you go, you purchased it.
I don't use mobile Apple products currently. I got no beef with the iPhone.
Do you think it's a good idea?
If it's
Instead of
done well.
having to pull out your wallet, hand somebody a credit card, whether that's a waiter, somebody who you have no idea what they're actually going to do with their credit card.
I think the risks are there for any platform like that.
Except that-
whether it's a Visa Quick Pay or
Here's
But Europe hasn't had someone actually go to you and take your credit card and take it to a back room anymore. They've actually stopped that. They actually now do this pin and chip kind of thing.
That's fine.
See, I would be okay with having the chip and the credit card thing. I think that's a good idea because that is incredibly hard to steal. My contention with the paying strictly through the phone thing is a lot of people, I won't, but I know a lot of people will stop carrying around actual forms of payment. They'll carry around their ID for obvious reasons, but they won't carry around cash. They won't carry around credit cards. You lose your phone, you are hosed.
But is
Yeah.
that the same thing? Like when you go on vacation, you don't just keep out your credit cards. You keep cash on you too, just in case something happens.
Yeah, but it's one thing to go on vacation. It's another thing to be like, oh, I'm going to go, do whatever. I'll just grab my phone and my ID.
Now, this is actually very secure. I do want to mention how secure it is because what happens is that your credit card is located locally on your phone and only can be accessed through your Touch ID, so fingerprint. And what happens is that the retailer actually doesn't get your credit card information. They don't get your credit card number. They don't get that little 3-digit number on the back.
A proprietary Apple number or something.
I don't think it's a proprietary Apple number. I think it's just, you get a token and this is what these random numbers that you get, and that's for a one-time purpose. So they're not going to get any of your contact information, nothing that actually says that is you, except for what the bank knows.
That's kind of rad.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Hopefully this branches out into all devices because I really hate proprietary. I hate, that I can only have an iPhone to do this. I mean, I know you can do this through Google Wallet or even with a Windows phone, you can use PayPal. And PayPal has the same thing on all devices. But I really think that we need to get to a form of unity, just like Visa. And I mean, I know we have Visa and MasterCard, but, you know, you can go use those anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to use my phone to pay anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to buy, you know, a proprietary piece of equipment. Next, Microsoft is reportedly ready to launch a smartwatch in the coming weeks. It's rumored that it's going to focus more on the fitness features than actually do much of anything else. But this also is supposed to be cross-platform, which Android smartwatches are not cross-platform. Apple Watch, not going to be cross-platform. So, you know, this watch you can actually do everywhere, this is a big move for Microsoft, because Microsoft was only, you know, Microsoft, that's us. We don't like anybody else. But now they're being open to everybody, mostly because I think everyone is kind of starting to move away and they want to still be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Microsoft also launches a new Windows Phone app that provides music deals for Xbox Music. So this whole week they've been having $1.99 albums.
That's kind of cool.
So, I mean, these are new albums that just came out, you know, within the last few weeks. So I checked it out. Looks pretty cool. Haven't bought anything yet, but probably will do that too. Last Microsoft news is that they released an update to Windows 10 technical preview. So if you have that and you want to do some updates, I think Notification Center was updated. There's a few more things. But you guys can go check that out on the web somewhere. Also last, Christian Bale is to play Steve Jobs in a biopic movie.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I like biopics. I thought, didn't
Ashton
Kutcher just
Kutcher
do
did
one?
one.
And he looked just like him.
Yeah, but that wasn't
creepy.
a biopic, I think. That was just, it was kind of like,
Biopic.
biopic. Biopic. See, this is why we have these guys on the
But did you guys watch the one with Kutcher? Was it any good?
I didn't. I heard mixed reviews. I heard that his portrayal was good. The movie itself was kind of
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was like Social Network. So it wasn't
so not really accurate.
not really accurate, but I think he did a good job at portraying Steve Jobs.
And Christian Bale's a fantastic character actor.
Yeah.
Goodness.
See, he's a very good character. I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Is he gonna talk like Batman? I'm Steve Jobs, and I'm Batman.
Wig out on a staffer.
Yeah. Here's my question. Why are we having this many biopic movies about Steve Jobs?
Because it's the cult of Apple, Stu.
Why
It is
not?
a cult.
Like, yeah, he created an empire of business. That's awesome. Having said that, I can think of many more people I would much rather see a biopic about.
Genghis Khan.
But the point of the matter is that Apple is hot right now.
yeah.
John Wayne
And
did
that's-
a Genghis Khan movie.
That's the
As
point.
Genghis Khan. Yeah, that happened.
The point is that Apple is on this, you know, going up on the charts, just like Marvel. Hey, look, there's a correlation. Maybe just keeps
So we
going
need a
up,
biopic
up.
about Stan Lee.
And well, I think we do. I think that would actually be really cool to see, to kind of see his work with Kirby and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. But besides the point, point is Apple's on this high up thing. They want everyone to go see an Apple movie, so people will be buy more Apple products. So that's that. So.
Just saying John Wayne is Genghis Khan. All right, Mongols, we're going to go over there, and you're going to get conquered.
All right, so now it's time for This Week in Review, where we talk about the latest TV shows and stuff like that. First up, let's bring up Korra. We're just going to do this real quick. We're kind of running out of time. Legend of Korra, 3rd episode. Spoiler alert. We get to see Toph again.
Oh, snap.
And she was pretty awesome.
Apparently you're right on the biopic thing. That's weird. I'd check it out.
I've never heard it
Doesn't
called a
sound right.
biopic.
I haven't
only
either,
heard it
but-
called biopic.
I don't know. According to this thing, it's biopic, so well played.
Oh.
Or we're both wrong. I don't know.
Or we're both right. Maybe it's just like tomato.
hey, we're all friends.
Potato.
But sorry, let's go back to Korra.
If you call it a tomato or a potato, I'm going to smack you in the mouth.
Well, it's like my sister says, what's it, Warsher and
Oh,
Library.
God.
Oh, we had guys that called the creek behind my house a
Washer
creek.
and
Oh,
library, and I'm like, no,
No,
it's
no.
definitely a library and a washer.
It's
You
one
don't
thing. It's one
wash
thing to
things,
shorten
you
creek into
wash
crick.
things.
It's one thing to turn Washington, George Washington, Washington, into George Washington. It's not Worshington.
It's like wash or wash. They do
No,
the same. The people
stop
who
that.
say Washington
Different
are also the people who say
Worse.
washer.
I'm about fixing to worse something.
Oh dear Lord!
I mean, wash almost sounds like you're to make it worse. Stay away from my laundry, please.
Right?
All right, let's
I'm
get
gonna
back on
wash your
topic,
laundry.
guys.
No, you will
we're,
not.
We're talking about Legend of Korra episode 3, where Toph comes back and starts training the
Beats her up,
Avatar. Yes,
and she's geriatric too. And I think one of the quotes was
You're
something.
beating up old people?
No, the old person was beating up the Avatar,
Oh.
and she said something like,
who's like only like 16, 17, something like that.
And she said something to the effect of, I'm old now. You should have seen me in my prime. I would have definitely messed you up.
Yeah,
And she did too. Korra gives to give her a hug. She raises this big stone thing. Is like, if you want to hug something, hug a tree. I love Toph.
You know what that
I mean,
means? It means she
Toph-
had her prune juice and her butterscotch and watched Golden Girls.
And
Toph
apparently
was-
steroids.
And now
Well,
we've
yeah.
come full circle.
but Toph is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
she's, we all think the Avatar was awesome. She could be considered, the only other person who's probably as strong as the Avatar.
Yeah, when it comes to that aspect. Absolutely.
I mean, we saw her and she's connected to everything. She says she can see everybody, even though she's blind. She can see everybody and can see her family and can see the way, things are going. So she knows how the world is going. She chooses to stay out of it.
Hanging out in the swamps like Yoda.
Yep. Swamp bending, which I didn't really think was a thing.
I always thought it was an extension of water bending because you had
Or
the swamp
earth
benders.
bending.
Yeah.
Something between like a combination of
Well, I'd
earth,
say
'cause
probably
they-
water because I think they said it was the water molecules in the plants. That was the first series.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
when he was?
Yeah.
But it was a long time ago.
So an extension, and then, well, it's like lava benders. It's
They
like
play
lava
fast and
benders.
loose, yeah.
They say it's more based off an earth bending than fire bending, but I was like, it's lava. It's hot.
Well,
But
yeah.
whatever.
I don't know. They play fast and loose with it.
Whatever.
I mean, they have cities on the backs of lion turtles.
This week, I think we saw the strongest. Moving on, I think we saw the strongest Once Upon a Time episode.
Oh yeah.
Sorcerer's. Well, I think it was just called The Apprentice, but it was pretty much on the Sorcerer's Apprentice. It was pretty cool. We got to see references of Mickey Mouse, just kind of small hints in there. But I think as of right now, this was the strongest episode so far this season.
It's the first one I didn't want to quit watching the show this season.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It was really strong.
That's really good. So I'm really liking this. I mean, they have their two storylines right now. You have their Frozen storyline and this kind of trying to find the sorcerer from Sorcerer's Apprentice.
AKA Mickey Mouse, who's a creepy old man. That's
no,
hilarious.
Mickey Man is the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah.
Not the sorcerer.
Yeah, that's who that old guy
Okay,
was.
I'm just making sure that we're
Does he sound like Mickey Mouse?
No, because the
No.
old guy was the apprentice.
right. He was the apprentice. I'm just saying that the storyline is him going to find the sorcerer because everyone thinks that the sorcerer is also the person who wrote the Once Upon a Time book. So, the Flash. We haven't got to talk about the Flash yet on the podcast from the pilot to now. So I think we're 3 episodes.
It's fast becoming one of my more favorite shows.
It's really good.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did. We got to see the super jail.
Yeah, that's really cool, especially for the
Do
DC heads,
Do they feed them?
because everybody knows what's underneath Star Labs in the comics. Superboy.
But do they feed them?
I would assume so, but I mean, what do you feed someone made out of death gas?
And like, whose job is that? Because I know Dr. Snow's not going
Interns.
to do it.
Interns. Send the interns.
Gosh.
Unpaid interns.
They got to clean out the gorilla
No, because then you get
Gorilla
Harvey
cage and
Gorilla
everything.
Grodd. Grodd's actually showing my house and we arm wrestle.
Oh, is that the gorilla you bought? Gorilla Grodd?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We're criminal
See, look
masterminds.
at that. We're bringing it full circle around this podcast.
Yep.
From the beginning to
Me,
the end.
Gorilla Grodd, wrestling, playing chess, mental wrestling. It's pretty awesome.
I think the episode for this week is mental wrestling a gorilla.
Yeah. And
All
I
right.
will win.
I think that might be it. All right. Well, but no, the Flash is pretty strong. We
Very
get to
cool.
we get to see H.G. Wells, Dr. H.G. Wells, as a character who we have.
No
Okay,
idea.
you have your ideas of who it is. We have no
Yeah.
idea who it is, and DC and CW have said, this is a character we have made for the show. It's not supposed to be anybody from the comics. I know you have your theories who
I
you
got a
think
theory.
he is from the comics, and they're just kind of lying about it. But
What I do like is how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was in season 1 where they'd always have the little button scene at the end, kind of like Marvel does in their movies. In this one, it's always with Dr. Wells and just
doing something
some plot
mischievous.
movement. Yeah, something mischievous in the old secret room of his, that dodgy dude.
Now I watched it again, and you kept telling me I want you to explain your theory about who he is, and I want you to explain to me the last 30 seconds, and this is going to be spoilers. So last 30 seconds of how you came to that theory, because I watched it and I was like, I still don't get it. I still don't see how you came to that.
I think
realization.
he's Reverse Flash.
Yep, that's
that
what you
one?
said.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I got a lot of theories. I think he's Reverse Flash because, as I recall, Reverse Flash was from the future, as this Doctor is, because this is all spoiler
You mean
territory.
Hasselhoff?
Yeah, good work. Because supposedly Reverse Flash is supposed to be that one detective Thrawn or whatever his name is. Thrawn Star Wars. And so, but he's been playing the straight man right now. But Reverse Flash, as I recall, comes from the future. And I want to say he was the one that would always test Flash and do all these crazy things to him because he wanted him to become a better hero. And as we've seen in the last couple button scenes, this guy was definitely from the future, definitely knows what's going on, and actually had a camera in Barry's lab before the storm even happened, knowing full well what's fixing to happen to him. So at the very least, this guy's from the future. He already said that no one can mess with Barry when he took out that one guy because he said, hey, he's got to be around. We need Barry. So it'll be interesting. Or maybe what they'll do is create a amalgamation of these other characters into what this guy is, and then just make Reverse Flash totally evil, and he'll be the Thawne guy. I don't know, but I still think H.G. Wells is Reverse Flash. Or some people are saying Future Barry. He looks a lot like him.
He does, and that's what I was thinking. Future Barry, Blue Beetle, maybe or not Blue Beetle. Gold.
Yeah, Booster Gold.
Booster Gold,
Good
because
call.
Time out.
Booster
There's
Gold's
a
from
person named the Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
he's actually pretty legit.
he's fairly decent, even though he has a terrible name and outfit.
Yep,
But you guys butt whooped by Doomsday.
that's
So
true.
bring on the Tick. How about that?
Actually, Tick's getting a live action show again. Stoked.
Does it have Patrick Warburton?
You're darn right it does.
Hell yeah.
No, I'm against.
He's just saying no because he doesn't like it. It is factually correct. They're working on it.
Yes. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
All right, and let's. There's so many good shows, so we're taking it week by week.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna cover different shows. We're gonna keep some of the core ones that we really like to follow.
Arrow strong.
like the Arrow. So we're about to talk about that. That's gonna be our last topic. If you want to know more about Gotham from the last few weeks, maybe we'll talk about The Walking Dead next week. Star Wars Rebels. We'll try to catch up on all the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because we didn't cover that this
that's a
week
good
either.
one, too.
We'll cover all that next week.
All right.
This week we just covered The Flash, Korra, stuff like that. Unless something really epic happens, we'll talk about it the following week.
Final topic, Arrow.
Arrow. Wow. I mean, they just keep doing it. Like every week they do it again.
So for those of y'all that watched it, as you were saying, every week's better and better and better and better. And my man Barrowman was on it. Shout out to Torchwood and Doctor Who. He was pouring molten wax on his daughter's hand. It was wax. I thought it was boiling water.
Yeah, because when I was watching, you kept saying water, and I was like, but when it like came down into the water, it like looked like this really weird.
It was wax.
Color.
It was super hot wax. Doesn't move. At the very end of the ep, this guy spills coffee on Speedy's hand because I can't remember what her name was. Thea. Thank you. He spills it on Thea's hand, and she doesn't even move. It's just scalding water, and Oliver's like, "Yo, what's going on?" She's like, "Oh, nothing." So I think he's gonna. The story will be as he kind of catches on to her.
Yeah, he has some thoughts. I mean, this whole season is about identity. So trying to find one's identity, and I mean, as of we saw the last few episodes, Oliver's going crazy right now. He doesn't know what his identity is. He wants to have a real life because I mean, we saw the thing with Felicity on the pilot. And he's fighting himself on who he needs to be. Is he Oliver Queen or is he the Arrow? Is there a difference? Can there be both?
Yeah.
So we'll see that. Laurel Lance is struggling with her death of her sister, trying to figure out who she is, and we all know who she is, who she becomes. We get to see a little bit of Wildcat, which was awesome. Thea is trying to figure out who she is.
Yep.
And I think Diggle. I mean, last season we
Sounds
did
like a friggin' teen show on ABC Family.
Well, it's just they said
know who I am. I find myself.
Well, these cats are going through a lot of stuff right now. They got people coming after them.
people dying, people showing up.
Their lives were built on a house of cards, and it collapsed.
Yeah, I mean,
Wild.
so
My favorite thing in the episode.
Is this not on Lifetime?
No, CW, which is Lifetime Junior. I think my favorite scene was
a little better than Lifetime Junior.
When Oliver runs out of arrows with the homemade bows, which were dope, and he takes the gun from Dig and just starts one-timing all these bad guys in Roy's face, and he goes, "I do know how to use a gun." I thought that was hilarious.
No, great. Stephen Amell is just every week he's pulling off something, and
Zach
DC
loves Amell, and I'm
I do.
just about buying him. I'm a big Amell fan.
Stephen Amell, if you are out there, we would love to have you on this podcast.
Yep.
It would be awesome. Anybody.
Yep.
We'll take anybody.
I'll take Diggle too. That dude's awesome.
Diggle,
Lady from the unit.
I would
she's
certainly.
Barry Allen.
I would
Felicity
prefer
Felicity Smoke.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on her.
Oh, speaking of Felicity, very funny. I love the over-caffeinated Brandon Routh. He's like, "I haven't slept for a couple days. I'm really caffeinated," and he's real manic. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And then she walks out. So if you're in the meeting with your boss who just bought your company for billions of dollars
and just made you the executive
something.
something.
They didn't really talk about that.
Maybe head of applied sciences. I don't know.
I think that's what they're doing. And then she's going to be the
who gets the CEO office.
yeah. And then she
has
goes,
way
hold on.
too many long stories.
I'm in the middle of a meeting. I need to take a personal call. And then in the middle of that, take a second personal call. Why the boss is where you're sitting, Stu. And he
just told you to do something that was super important. And she's like, can you hold on just 1 second?
Classic Felicity. It's a good
It's like
show.
yes, we have like this dark and gritty DC, but they are trying so hard to put some funniness into it, and I think it's working.
I agree.
And keeping it still the dark and gritty. I feel like when you watch the Avengers or something like that, it's just they're trying to keep it on the one level, and I really like the dark and gritty stuff. It makes the show more interesting.
Yeah, it was a good app. If you aren't watching Arrow or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for that matter, do it.
Yep, catch up. Seasons 1 and 2 are on Netflix, and we're only into episode 3 of Arrow. So I would definitely check that out. So, that's pretty much it for this week. Just want to thank those who help support us. We've had people donate equipment to us. We've had people donate their time with logo creations and stuff like that. We still want to do more. We want to eventually do live streaming or do live recording first, and then we'll hopefully move to live streaming. We also we would like intro music and stuff like that. So if you're creative and want to create us intro music, you can do that.
Or it might be me singing "We Need a Theme Song," and y'all don't want that.
Yeah, that would not be good
at all.
It's like we will rock you, but instead,
I'm not doing it for free. But it would be very poor.
Oh, jeez,
very poor.
But if you guys want to support us, you can do so by going to patreon.com/beardbrainbrawn. Or you can go to A Digital Fix and donate there on our podcast page. If you want to check us out, please go to A Digital Fix to check out our podcasts. You can get a downloadable copy there. You can also go to youtube.com/beardbraidbrawn to find the videos there and iTunes. So those will all be in the show notes on A Digital Fix for the podcast. If you want to check those out, and if you want to help support our podcast. Like I said, next week we are also going to talk about the holiday movie lineup.
Awesome. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. Stay safe and stay away from the hot wax.
Don't drink your bath water.